Okay, back to show some of the non-reggae records that I picked up on my recent trip to Milwaukee. There's a link below. If you check that, there's actually two links below. One of them is the link to my video for the actual trip to Milwaukee and some of the look inside some of the record stores. And then another one is my my video of the reggae records that I picked up at Bullseye Records in Milwaukee. So that was the major haul for the trip. This one's not insignificant. A few records here to share. This is sort of the collection of the other stuff, the non-reggae. I did the reggae as its own separate video. Picked up Passion Sources. Can't really call it a Peter Gabriel album, but it is the sources, the influences for Peter Gabriel's Passion. This is my copy. I've had this for a while. I didn't pick this up in Milwaukee. But Peter Gabriel's Passion, which is his soundtrack for The Last Temptation of Christ. And so there's a record out there. It's called Passion Sources. Had this on CD for a while, but it's really cool to kind of find it on vinyl. It came out in '89, and it's actually dated 10/12/89 up there. Well, it looks like a price tag is actually a date sticker. So anyway, pretty cool. There's a lot of good music on here if you're into world music. A lot of there's Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, Baba Mal, Hassam Ramzi. Just some great stuff on here. Musicians of the Nile. If you're into that kind of thing, and I am, this is just fabulous stuff. Sheila Chandra, or Sheila Chandra. I've never been quite sure how to say that. Roots and Wings. Sheila sort of did the sort of Indian version of what Ofra Haza did in kind of crossing over from purely Indian music to pop, and she did some extended remixes and some vocals with various people. And even on here, I mean, there's a couple. There's a traditional mix and then a madras mix and various other things, different songs that are mixed differently. There's a sort of a traditional Scottish song on here called The Lament of Macrimmon, Song of the Banshee. So she's definitely worth checking out. I mean, if you appreciate female vocalists that have a bit of a world music flavor to them, but aren't just purely traditional. There's a little bit of sort of experimentation going on with Sheila Chandra as well. So definitely worth checking out if you like that kind of thing. A little bit more on the poppy side, King Sunny Ade and his African beats. So King Sunny Ade, this is Juju music from 1982, I think. And then also from King Sunny Ade from '83, Synchro System. That sort of Afro beat thing going on there. A neat little compilation here from Montreux. This is from the Montreux Jazz Festival in 1982. A little compilation there of blues artists, Blues Explosion. John Hammond, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Sugar Blue, Coco Taylor, Luther Guitar Jr., Johnson. Good stuff. I love that artwork on the cover too. Really pleased to find that, and it wasn't very expensive either. A couple bucks. This one's kind of neat. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's called Music for Films 3. I really don't know. I don't have Music for Films 1 or 2, but now I'm going to have to find them. Brian Eno, Daniel Lanois, Michael Brook, Roger Eno, Laraji, Harold Budd, John Paul Jones, Misha Malin, and Lydia Theremin. A little compilation there. I'm really looking forward to this. I have not played it at all, but just judging by that roster of names, I'm going to be totally into this. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that. Bill Bruford. This is Bill Bruford's Gradually Going Tornado. Absolutely love that cover. Found this for a few bucks at the first store we went into. I was going to try and order these things, and I got these at this store and I got those at that store, and as I'm looking through them and I'm reading the backs of records and all kinds of things like that. They're getting out of order, and all I could really remember is that I got the reggae records at Bullseye. But the rest of these are just from the other stores, and I honestly can't remember what I got where. On the pop side of things, Susie and the Banshees. This is Peep Show. I'm a big Susie and the Banshees fan, but I don't really have much of her stuff on vinyl. So I think that's the second one I have of hers. Yeah, this is the second one I have of hers, and the first one I got from the teacher. So I'm adding to my Susie and the Banshees vinyl collection. London Symphony Orchestra plays Frank Zappa, Volume 1. I popped this on yesterday and just dropped the needle and listened to a little bit of it, and it's fucking wild. It's not, I mean, you hear the name London Symphony Orchestra and you conjure up something, but yeah. So yeah, music conducted by Kent Nagano, but Frank composed all the tunes and arranged them. So anyway, cool stuff. Japan, Tin Drum. This is David Sylvian's band. I really shouldn't say David Sylvian's band. These are the guys that were in Japan, if you don't know. David Sylvian, Steve Jansen. David Sylvian and Steve Jansen were brothers. Richard Barbieri, and Mick Karn. So if those names mean anything to you, you can tell that this is not just David Sylvian's band. Those guys are all very talented. Barbieri, I think, is with Porcupine Tree now. And certainly I've heard Derek and some other people talk about Jansen and Barbieri and their recordings together and everything. Fantastic stuff. I have a number of Sylvian albums, and I also have a number of Japan albums. But I have been looking for Tin Drum for a long time, and I finally found it. And this is a really nice copy of it too. You can see it's, basically you're not, there's no ring wear, and it's not bent or creased or anything like that. So I was really pleased to find this. They actually had 3 or 4 Japan albums. Somebody must have just sold their Japan collection, and I was thinking about picking them all up. I think they were all around $10 a piece, and I was thinking about picking them all up, but I already had 2 of the 3 in my collection, and at $10, it wasn't like I could just sort of throw that around. I wanted to spend that extra $20 on other records. Bebop Deluxe, Sunburst Finish. Bebop Deluxe is Bill Nelson's band, who Bill Nelson has also worked with David Sylvian in Japan on some of his solo stuff. I always like that cover too. I'm not trying to be a lech. It's just a cool looking cover, isn't it? That flaming guitar and everything. Damn straight. Marianne Faithfull, As Tears Go By. I'm a big Marianne Faithfull fan, but more of the stuff from Broken English on. And this is all earlier stuff. This is a compilation of earlier stuff. But I still like that stuff. I just don't like it as much as the later stuff. Sister Morphine's on here. House of the Rising Sun. Obviously, As Tears Go By, the song As Tears Go By. So just all kinds of Reason to Believe. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff on here. So I'm looking forward to spinning that. And last but not least, Adrian Belew's Twang Bar King. This one's a gatefold. I'm a big fan of Adrian Belew. As a matter of fact, although this probably will sound somewhat blasphemous, I prefer King Crimson with Adrian Belew in the band than prior to that. So, settle down on the comments if that just makes you irate. I hope that doesn't piss anybody off. But I do. It's just my opinion. I like that version of King Crimson better, and a lot of it has to do with Adrian Belew. And I've got a number of Adrian Belew solo records, and I've got some albums with his band The Bears. But this is actually one of his more popular albums, Twang Bar King, and I didn't have it on vinyl anyway. And so it's really nice to have found a copy of that, actually. So those are my my non-reggae albums that I picked up on the trip to Milwaukee, and that'll pretty much do it for the records that I picked up on that trip. I've enjoyed sharing it with you guys, and I'd love to hear some comments about some of these records. If you're into them, or if you're curious about them, or if you have them and you hate them, or whatever the case is, I just love to hear it from you, and I'd love to talk about music. Don't we all? I guess that's why we're doing this, right? Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I will see you around on YouTube.